There are 100 billion snowflakes swirling in the cosmic storm. Each one is a galaxy, a billion stars or more. And each sun is a million Earths, a giant fiery sun. High up in some sky, maybe shining on someone. And deep inside a snowflake, I am floating quietly. I am infinitesimal, impossible to see. And sitting in my tiny kitchen, in my tiny home, staring out my window at a universe of snow. But my soul is so much bigger than the very tiny me. It reaches out into the snowstorm like a net into the sea. Out to all the lovely places where my body cannot go. I touch that beauty and embrace it in the bottom of my soul. And so brief and fleeting in this tiny life of mine, like a single quarter note in the march of time. But my soul is like the music, it goes back to ancient days, back before it wore a human face, long before my name. Because my soul is so much older than the evanescent me. It can describe the dawn of time like a childhood memory. It is a spark that was begotten in the darkness long ago. What my body has forgotten, I remember in my soul. So we live this life together, my tiny soul and tiny me, one remembering forever, one like smoke upon the breeze, one the deep abiding ocean, one a sudden crashing wave, and counting galaxies like snowflake, I would swear we were the same. Oh, my soul belongs to beauty, takes me up to lofty heights, teaches sacred stories to me, sanctifies my tiny life, lays a bridge across the ages, melts the boundaries of my bones, paints a bold eternal face on this passing moment. Oh, my soul.
Good morning, and welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Rhonda Johnson. My pronouns are she and hers, and I am very happy to welcome the Reverend Jenny Amstutz as our guest minister today. Our settled minister, Reverend Ron Fairs, is at her church in Columbine, as they've done a pulpit swap today. I'd like to invite Kyle Amstutz up to help me light the chalice. I was saying it the way your mom told me. I was saying it. He says his name is Amstutz, so that's fine. So let's light the chalice. We light this flame representing the miracles of Hanukkah and the peace of the Advent rituals. May it strengthen our wills and sustain our courage through the dark nights of December as we embrace the mysterious within us and all around us.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Jenny Amstutz. Of course, we say it wrong. It should be Amstutz, I suppose. I use the pronouns she, her, and I am delighted to be here. Well, Reverend Ron is at Columbine UU Church down in Littleton, where I serve as the minister. It has been a delight to work with your amazing worship team this week. I told them I've done a lot of pulpit swaps, and they get the gold star for being amazing to work with. My husband and two of our children recently visited All Souls when we were in town, and so we got to know a few of you during that snowstorm weekend a few weeks ago. And it is an honor and a privilege to be back in this beautiful house of worship with your wonderful All Souls community. I have to admit I have a little church envy because our Columbine church building, which is the same age as me, 1971, I'll do the math, that's 52, it was built as a YMCA daycare, which means we have, popcorn ceilings and outlets halfway up the walls for safety, and we even have little tiny miniature sinks and potties. So we've got a great building too, but I gotta say, there's nothing like a beautiful space like this. We gather here today, and we gather together with people online as well through the miracle of modern technology. And I'd like to invite all of us here in the sanctuary to wave hello to the folks at home. Thank you for joining us. We gather today in this modern way as we celebrate a very old, long, and rich UU faith tradition. We gather today rooted in our history of social justice and in an ever-unfolding exploration of truth and understanding. We gather here with a diversity of theologies and spiritual practices and beliefs, and with a shared covenant to support one another in our personal quests for meaning and truth. We gather here with a shared Unitarian Universalist identity and a wide diversity of personal identities, committed to embracing that diversity and to building beloved community together. Whomever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are in your life's journey, you are welcome here. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. We are going to sing hymn 389, Gathered Here. We're going to do it as a 4-part round. Advanced warning, I'm going to be traversing down here on the floor, so I really don't want to step on anybody. We'll sing this in 4 parts. We'll sing it twice together, and then 3 times as a round, as I like to do. And I'm going to stay with what we did last time, which is group 1 will be over here. Group 2 will be on my right side of this middle section. Group 3 will be right here on my left side of the middle section, and that leaves you guys as group 4. So please stand as you are able in body, stand in spirit, and join me in singing number 389, Gathered Here. And for those of you who are keeping score, I'm tapping on the 2 and 4. Wow. Nice. All right, twice. I hope so.
Clap on 1 and 3.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Again together. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the one body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near.
All right, good morning. I would like to invite all the children to come up. Hi, I am so glad to see everyone here this morning. And so, raise your hand if you have a birthday in December. You have a birthday in December? Yeah. So all three of my kids and my sister actually have birthdays in December. It's a it's a fun month for birthdays. But so happy birthday to those of you who have December birthdays. I am also excited about a birthday of a sort of famous person who was born on December 25. And I think this person really embodied compassion and caring and our UU values that each person is important. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? Yes! Yes! You're right. Clara Barton. I was not expecting that correct answer, but yeah. So I am talking about Clara Barton. So she was born December 25, 1821. So has anybody heard of Clara Barton? You know who she is? Yeah. Have you heard of the Red Cross? Yeah. So she was the founder of the American Red Cross after she had worked internationally with the Red Cross, and she brought it here to America. So, she was the founder of the American Red Cross and its first president. And why am I talking about Clara Barton? What does she have to do with UU history? Well, She was a Universalist. She identified herself as a Universalist in a letter that she wrote. And in this letter that she wrote, she also said, "My father was a leader in the building of the church in which Hosea Ballou preached his first dedication sermon." Do you remember when Hosea Ballou came to visit us? Yeah, Addie, you remember that?
It was just you in a towel.
What? Just me in a towel? No. Okay, so like Hosea Ballou, Clara Barton was a Universalist. She was a nurse, and her first sort of patient was her brother, David, who was injured in a barn raising accident. And she took it upon herself to care for him when she was only 11 years old. Did any of you ever help take care of a younger sibling?
My little brother was and then give him diapers.
You get diapers for your baby brother. That's nice. Anybody else help take care of a younger sibling? Yeah. Well, after that, as she grew up, she did become a nurse, and she was a nurse during the Civil War. She even took care of patients right on the battlefield. There was one time where a bullet went through her sleeve while she was taking care of an injured soldier. So she was right there in the action. She had to be really brave. She also advocated for the U.S. to sign the Geneva Convention, since she had seen the suffering of the soldiers during the Civil War. And the Geneva Convention included principles of how to care for the sick and the wounded in war. So she was So we can think about Clara Barton's example when we're caring for a sibling or lending a helping hand or contributing to a cause that we believe in, because each of you, has the capacity to affect the world positively. All right. So we will go ahead and go downstairs. All children and youth who want to come downstairs, follow me through the tunnel of love.
Spirit of life, Spirit of love, we come here together today to remember that we are all connected. We come each with our own understanding of beloved mystery, our own ways of connecting within ourselves and with each other and with the world around us. We gather today in the hopes of kindling our faith. May our prayers today bring hope and healing. Today we share our concern for the wider world, for our human community, and for the most vulnerable among us. This morning we hold in our prayers the children, the elderly, and all people and creatures living in war zones. May all beings live in safety, in freedom, and may war fade into the history of humanity as an awful memory. May we learn to live in peace. We hold the joys and sorrows of this community in our prayers today. If you have joys or sorrows that you're holding in your heart today that you would like to be shared aloud, then please come up front or please fill out one of the yellow and blue cards that you'll see in your pew pockets, and the ushers will collect them from you shortly. If you're attending worship from home, please type your joy or sorrow into the chat and Rick will read them. Rick, do we have any sorrows in the chat?
We have one joy. We can share that in a moment or now if you like.
Sure.
From Ed Ben, and I find this amusing considering the weather outside here today. He says, we took some guests to the beach yesterday. It was 84. I think he's in South Texas. It's a little warmer there.
We have a lot more joys than concerns today, which is nice. We have a concern, may all beings live in financial security, ensuring a safe and comfortable home, food to sustain them / us in well-being, and medical care to ensure good health. We have a sorrow that we lost my Uncle Rod this week, but we know that now he's gardening with his brother Poppy. Grateful to hug more of my family because my partner booked me flights to be with them. A concern that a friend and mentor who underwent stem cell therapy for bone cancer just found out that it didn't work. Please hold Pat in your hearts. We have lots of joys. Do we have any more joys online? No. Joy to have shared Thanksgiving week with family at the start of the holiday season. An appreciation of the newcomers class yesterday and building relationships and community. A joy for this church. Love makes the world look beautiful. When there is love, there is beauty. Thank you for making my world beautiful. Oh. A joy of gratitude for my friend Cheryl's verse to a familiar tune. We gather together. I'm not going to sing it though. We gather together to speak of our blessings. The universe kindly has met all our needs. With friendship, our hearts we are expressing. We do not make things grow, yet we must plant the seeds. Oh, that's lovely. Next time I'll sing it. Thanks to David and Michelle Fain and the Christmas Tree Project for providing free trees and decorations for families in need. Someone is grateful that through All Souls, they were able to cross paths with and know Heidi Cooper. This place will be poorer without her music, smile, and loving heart. Best of luck to her, and thanks for sharing your talents with us all. Oh, there's a joy that somebody got a stuffy chinchilla. It's really awesome. I want to take these home. And a joy, I'm here because I like to learn about God and to be kind. Lovely. May all of these concerns and celebrations shared, as well as the ones that we hold quietly in our hearts, be held by this community in love and prayer. Blessed be, and may it be so.
I invite you into an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. We know that all of our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. And we are so grateful for this, and we commit together to ensure the funds that we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. We will pass the baskets here in the sanctuary while Jay provides our special music, or you can choose to give online as indicated on this slide. May we give in love and in hope. We are grateful for all your contributions of time, of talent, and of treasure in service of this community. A few years ago, we had a bloodthirsty stoat that could squeeze through the tiniest gaps in my henhouse and would terribly maim, but not eat or kill, my hens. I had to tenderly kill them myself in the mornings when they were so gruesomely savaged. It was horribly sad and went on for months. Then I started tracking the stoat. I learned his quick ways and his stealthy tracks. And I thought his presence was a miracle. I grew to be enchanted by his ways. He was so tiny. I learned to sharpen my eyes and see him darting through the hedgerows. All the wild and secret lives that move alongside us. Past the human noise lives pure wonder.
When I was a boy, each week, on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. And he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding when there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it in a reverent dare, 'cause everything is holy now. Read a child's questioning face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning brush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how everything has changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, second-hand rate hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
Thank you, Jay. Last week at Columbine, the little UU church where I serve, we had a guest musician lead our worship service. Now, I don't usually go to Columbine on my days off, but Jim Scott's name is plastered all over the teal and gray hymnal, right? And he's written many of the beloved UU hymns that we sing. He's UU famous, so I was curious. When I sat down in the sanctuary, I looked at the order of service, and I was surprised because Jim Scott was doing the whole service. The order of service read Jim Scott, Jim Scott, Jim Scott, Jim Scott, Jim Scott, and I thought, uh-oh, how's this gonna go? I didn't know him at all, and I thought, maybe I shouldn't have shown my face today. This guy better be good if he's gonna hold a whole worship service, music and all by himself. But alas, as some of you know, Jim Scott is no rookie. He's been leading UUs in song and worship for 40 years, and he's been a guest in over 700 UU congregations. He's the real deal. And while his service went on for an hour and a half, he kept us engaged. He's funny, and he's talented, and he's deeply spiritual. His reflections centered on his state of awe when he considers what we understand of the vastness of the universe. His message is one of ecological awareness and a reminder of how much we need our Mother Earth. He centered his ecological message in awe, and he reminded us that humans only understand a small fraction of what is around us, what's inside us, what's between us, and what we do know is mind-blowing enough, let alone all that we don't know. We know that we don't know most of what is out there and in here and all around. Jim reminded us that cultivating awe and wonder in the magnitude of the complexity and mystery of the world is a spiritual practice. We were reminded to be curious, to be willing to be impressed and amazed, to remember how small we are in the big scheme of things, and that this is a spiritual practice. It's one that helps us keep perspective and maybe even a sense of humor. Jim Scott reminded me, just like Peter Mayer's music today that Jay shared with us both before the worship service and just now, that one of the most profound and radical gifts of our UU faith is our acceptance of the unknown, of uncertainty, of our acknowledgement that we cannot comprehend the mysteries of life and death and the universe. We are okay with not knowing all the answers, and this mystery is baked into our UU religious practice. We UUs don't believe that there's one path to enlightenment or salvation, that we need to agree on a creed in order to get into heaven. But instead, we are invited to play with our theology. We are free. We can cultivate a faithfulness that maintains that we're going to be okay, even if we don't know the objective truth, even if we don't solve all the problems, and even if we aren't perfect. What a relief not to have to figure it all out. That's exhausting, and I kind of wish somebody had told me that when I was a young adult. We don't have to solve all the big riddles. Grounding ourselves in awe and wonder is an essential tool for helping us to stay light and resilient. Jim Scott was an example. He made us laugh. I was cracking up most of the service, and his humor was poking at Unitarian Universalists and poking at the state of things in the world. He didn't come with answers, but he came with observations and with levity. His words reminded us to stay humble in the recognition of mystery all around us, to accept the world as it is with a sense of wonder and a sense of humor. Now, this way of being spiritual isn't for everyone. It reminds me of a story that one of our Columbine founding members, I'm going to call her Jane, has told us about, that reminds us how Unitarian Universalism can come off to other people. Jane tells the story that many years she brought a friend to Columbine, and the friend really seemed to enjoy herself. She chatted with other people, she asked questions, and she really seemed to resonate with our UU values. So Jane was excited. Hey, maybe I've got a new recruit. And afterwards, she asked her friend, so, how'd you like it? Are you going to come again? And her friend said, I love that service. The people are great. I agree with everything I heard, and no, I'm not coming again. Jane was surprised and said, well, why not? And her friend said, it's too much work. I don't want to figure things out for myself. I go to church for answers, not for more questions. Right? Fair enough. Garrison Keillor says we're the church of the burning question mark. I get it. Our commitment to spiritual exploration that we share here isn't for everyone. Sitting with uncertainty isn't comfortable, and some people prefer a creedal religion. Some people are happy to go to church, and then they question their creedal religion. Not all people are intrigued and excited by the thought of their religion being a shared conversation or an exploration. After all, Unitarianism and Universalism have been around for centuries, and yet the Pew Research poll from 2007 estimated that only 0.3% of American adults identified as UU, 0.3%. There are less than 800,000 UUs in the whole world. And while I respect that many people want their religion to give them answers and are content to depend on sacred texts and traditions and clergy for those answers, as UUs, we believe that reason and lived experience are essential parts of a healthy spiritual life. And we articulate that in our 6 sources. Our 5th source is humanist teachings, which counsel us to heed the guidance of reason and the results of science, and warn us against idolatries of the mind and spirit. In other words, we agree to a healthy skepticism. We give our ministers and speakers freedom of the pulpit because we know it's all an exploration. And we trust each other to discern what is true and what we believe. We trust each other to visit and revisit our ever-changing ideas and beliefs. And to do this theological play, we have a container. It's not a free-for-all. This is not a liberal social club. Instead, we create and recreate our theology and our best practice for living, grounded in shared values and held by our covenants. This is why the poet Mary Oliver is jokingly referred to as a UU saint, because she holds the ideas beautifully in many of her poems, and particularly when she wrote, "Let me keep my distance always from those who think they have the answers. Let me keep company with those who say, 'Look,' and laugh in astonishment and bow their heads. Let me keep company always with those who say, 'Look,' and laugh in astonishment and bow their heads." That poem articulates the essence of our faith, the culture that we strive to cultivate, because it resonates with our UU theology. And it's a great reminder because it's easy to lose our astonishment. These days, it's easy to lose our sense of humor, and it's easy to lose our reverence for all that is. It's easy to forget the miracle of life and the gifts that come from slowing down a bit. Sometimes we need our UU saints like Mary Oliver or Peter Mayer to remind us that everything is holy now. Even the stealthy little stoat maiming the chickens. That story came from my friend Dory Joy, who I lived with her in England many years ago. And she just wrote that and threw it up on Facebook. And I said, can I use that? Because it articulates so beautifully that nature is a mystery of beauty and cruelty. The vastness of the stars and the universe that we can study and learn about, ultimately we cannot comprehend. Our human minds cannot hold the fullness of the concept of each snowflake being unique as they fall by the millions. Now, each of us has different names and experiences of that indescribable energy that connects us all, that we articulate in our seventh principle. And the first source of our living tradition is, the first of our 6 sources, is direct experience of that transcendent mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. Beautiful, holy words, but not sacred. They're just words. We democratically decided to use those words as a container for our exploration, to keep us grounded in reason while still open to direct experience. We UUs have co-created a theology where questions are not whispered, they are not contraband. Instead, questions are central to our faith. When I was first dating my husband about 7 years ago, he was widowed about a year prior to me meeting him. And his little 3-year-old son, who's now the 10-year-old that rang the chalice today, Kyle, was of course asking Jason, "Where did mommy go?" Now, Jason didn't yet know me well, but he knew that I was studying social work at the time, and he said, "What do I say? Do I tell him she's in heaven watching him, that she's an angel, that she's just gone? I don't know where she is." And that was a moment when I really deeply appreciated my UU faith, because it was easy for me to say, "Tell him we don't know. Some people believe she's in heaven. Some people believe mommy is an angel, but no one really knows for sure. What do you think, Kyle?" Kyle was then and has always been accepting of that answer. And we enjoy speculating on where Angel Mommy is without any expectation of figuring it out in this lifetime. For some reason, that's radical in our culture. It's perceived as a weakness to say you don't know. But I would challenge that. I see the ability to sit with and accept mystery and the unknown as strength. What a gift it is to draw from the 6 sources of our faith, knowing full well that the 6 sources are incomplete and they are evolving. There's nothing sacred about our 6 sources, but there is something sacred when we practice engaging them. Theological play grounded in shared values with humor and lightness and awe that we glean from our spiritual sojourn, that is sacred and holy. And this time of year, we humans, all of us, we try to cultivate space for the sacred and the holy. This holiday season that's celebrated near winter solstice in nearly all cultures, I would venture to guess all cultures, is the time that humans have traditionally set aside to slow down, to pause, to stoke the embers of wonder and awe. This is the darkest time of year, and ancient and modern people alike cling to our rituals of faith and hope, celebrating cycles of death and rebirth, because we know in our bones that these celebrations will carry us through the darkest time of the year. We come together to anticipate the warmth and the return of the sun and the light, and we celebrate our faith in these cycles, knowing that they give us comfort and they reassure us that the sun will return. Because for all the ways that our modern culture has left behind old traditions and practices, we know that now more than ever, we need to pause and make space for our spiritual renewal and for kindling our hope. All over the world, in every culture, people are celebrating the winter solstice through Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Dongzi, Yalda, Shalako, Toji, Yule, Saturnalia, Soyal, Inti Raymi, and St. Lucia's Day. And of course, that's not a comprehensive list. People all over and through time want to feel happy and connected, and we yearn for that sense of wonder that we felt as children. So every winter solstice, we have another opportunity to cultivate that wonder and awe, to contemplate mystery and to be curious. We get to choose our focus. Will we get caught up in buying things and running around, or will we let the darkest nights of the year work their magic as we take a breath? And as my friend Dory Joy said in our reading today, past the human noise lives pure wonder. As humans, we are born with a yearning for these indescribable moments of mystery and awe of something larger than ourselves, a yearning to connect with something we don't understand. Keeps us alive. It helps us to relax into things that we can't control. How blessed are we to have a religion that serves to encourage our wonder, to keep our hearts open to mystery, not just this time of year, but all the time. What a blessing it is to be encouraged to experiment and explore what we believe, to have our Unitarian Universalist faith that encourages us to have faith in uncertainty, to be invited to keep engaging and asking questions, and to keep a sense of humor. In the words of St. Mary Oliver, it is an invitation to say, look, and laugh in astonishment, and bow our heads. Blessed be, and may it be so.
Our closing hymn today is number 6 in the gray hymnal, Just As Long As I Have Breath. The words will be on the screens, but if you want to read the music, it's number 6. And if you would please stand as you are able, and we will sing verses 1, 2, and 3, and then after the benediction, we'll do 1 and an extra verse that'll be on the screen. Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Through the pain I made my way, still with all my meaty
As we leave our service today, may we remember the miracle of our lives, the warmth of this beloved community, and the gifts that we can access anytime we remember to be amazed. Go in peace and be blessed and be a blessing. Amen.